Hey guys, David. This is Express Auto Transmission. We like to play with transmissions here, and we like having you guys here watching our videos. So thank you guys for watching. Welcome back. We're gonna go see what's on the bench today.
This is the 456 hub. This is the shaft.
The idea behind that is to get as much oil to the fourth clutch as quick as you possibly can. And we've got a beautiful vacuum. All right, guys, we're on the bench again. Finally. I feel like it's been forever since I've been in here. But anyway, today we've got a 07 Dodge Nitro 42 RLE four-wheel drive. Vehicle came in a non-move condition. No matter what gear you put it in. I honestly thought it might have a 4L60 in it with the whole all neutrals things, but it didn't. It had a 42 RLE in it. But wanted to remind you guys, got the giveaway coming up. We're getting closer and closer to the 1,000 subscribers. Once we get there, we're gonna give away some parts and pieces and help somebody build a transmission. Another thing we got coming up is 6L80 build and a C4 build, and man, we got
a high horsepower 4L60.
Yeah, we got that 1,000 horsepower 4L60 coming up. I keep forgetting to mention that thing, but we got all those Sonax parts sitting in there, and eventually we're gonna put them in something.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yep. Anywho, we're gonna get into taking this thing apart, see what came apart, see why it has all neutrals, and go from there. Like I said, it was a no move condition, so I hope to find something broke. Let's take it apart. Somebody's been working on it already, I can tell you that, because that's a 12, and those were supposed to be 10s, but that's okay. People don't know how to keep track of their bolts. We'll have to go find some new ones.
Wait a minute.
Well, hold on a second there, fellers. Well, that can't be good at all. Where'd the filter go? Huh. That's probably why it didn't move.
I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, that's a new one on me. I'm gonna have to call a customer tomorrow and be like, hey, where's your filter at? Let's take the valve body off anyway. I'm gonna bet by the smell of that fluid that something's not right inside of it. Starting to see metal already oozing out of the holes. That's not good. It's not a good sign when you got silver just running out. Now to get the valve body off, you have to get your parking rod in the correct position. And before you get your parking rod in the correct position, this dude has to be, or after you get your parking rod in the correct position, you have to take this guy off, valve body comes out. So we are going to take our ratchet and take this thing apart. They're loosened up, and one way is park and the other way is not. There we go. That's not park. Get this dude to pop off of here.
So, how did you know for sure that it was in park?
Whenever you move the shifter selector, you can grab the output shaft, which is sitting through the bottom of the bench there. You can't see it from where you're at there, but you can grab that output shaft and you can spin it. If the selector was in park, you wouldn't be able to spin the output shaft. Just for sake of knowledge there. Now, let's see if this valve body will pop off here. We got all of our bolts out. By golly, I think we got them all. Grab our capping device. Sometimes you gotta wiggle it a little bit. This rod is the one I was talking about a minute ago. It hooks into that latch right there whenever this is all the way in the forward position. So whenever it's in park, that guy's sticking all the way out like that and going down into the parking rod or parking slot there and applying the parking pole. So just take the valve body off. Has to be all the way back like so. So we'll get this thing out of our way. Got some accumulators in here. Get rid of these little guys. Don't need those at the moment. Go ahead and get that low accumulator out of there as well. Come here. One thing we have seen in the past on 42 RLEs, little insider trader tip here, whatever you want to slice that thing. If this snap ring breaks, you will not have low gear. So you get one end that just has a low gear problem. There is a potential, if it doesn't have a lot of time on it after this is blown out, to be able to save it by replacing the snap ring and putting the accumulator cover back in. Very, very small chance. I have seen guys do it to get somebody down the road to hopefully get them home, but I don't recommend doing that on a repairing kind of basis. So let's get our speed sensors yanked out and then we'll yank the front out of it. Input speed sensor, output speed sensor. Input speed sensor is reading off of the drum. Output speed sensor is running off the rear ring gear. You're getting an output speed sensor code on this thing. I would not be surprised. That is a super common problem. Always try a new sensor first. If you're going to put a sensor in it, buy the OE sensor. Yeah, the one from O'Reilly's is 20 bucks and the dealer one's 75. But the O'Reilly ones is a giant piece of junk and you're gonna have to warranty it 48 times. At which point you could have just bought a dealer solenoid or dealer sensor, been done, not had to deal with it again. So always keep that in mind when you're replacing those things. High quality sensors, there's a reason that they cost more. It's not just because it has the fancy Dodge name on the side of it. It's because they actually designed it and they know how to build it the right way the first time. So let's get the pump yanked out. Caleb, we need the slide hammer. All right, let's see if we can get the pump out of this little turkey. You guys that have been around the transmission world a day or two, you'll know that this pump is actually kind of entertaining because it's the same pump in a 604 or a 606 or a 42 RLE. Chrysler, out of all of the big three there of the transmission manufacturers, had their own thought process of if we'll make stuff just almost close enough, guys can swap it around and it'll kind of work. But in the grand scheme of things, it does its job. Fords, you can't really grab parts out of this one and mix it with that one, or same thing with Chevrolet to an extent. When you get in your 6 speeds and 8 speeds and stuff like that, you can't swap stuff around. But Chrysler, you can do some swappings. So take our pump apart. Well, howdy doody. Would you look at that? This is a really nice looking pump. Not worn the crescent. Tops of the teeth look beautiful. That's no side to side plant. Dude, that's a nice looking pump. Well, that's one plus for a Chrysler. Let's yank that input drum out of there. Let's see what we got in here. Feels like everything's still attached, so that's a good sign. Tap those sides down like so. You guys are gonna take one of these things apart and you think that this input drum is really scary and you're scared, buy you a Transgo kit and follow the instructions. I'm sure you can put it back together just fine. Transgo was gracious enough to put all of the clutch stack and how this drum needs to be assembled in their instructions. So if you want to build one and use their instructions as kind of a guideline, it works really well. They don't give you the tips and tricks of how to actually do it, but they tell you there's something going on. Ooh. Caught me over here talking, we're finding burnt parts. That don't look good at all. Sir? Can you see the angle on this thing? Wow. Yeah, they're not supposed to be dished. They shouldn't look like a satellite or a UFO. That's definitely not good. Now we gotta get this snap ring out. This snap ring down here can be a little bit of a turd burglar, to say the least. If I can find the end of it. There she is. I'll make her pick. This is a high failure area for this transmission. 42 RLEs and 604s alike. These snap rings are known for breaking. If you're going to be building one, buy some new snap rings. It's another thing in the Transgo kit, they tell you what the part numbers of these things are. So if you can call your local dealer, pick up a phone and make a phone call, you can get all the parts for this thing pretty easily. This top snap ring is supposed to be a tapered snap ring. We'll see if somebody put it back together right, because I'm gonna go out on a limb and say somebody built this thing once. That is a tapered snap ring. Woohoo! Pull our hub out of there. Get our pressure plate out. Then you will find another snap ring. Kind of like an Allison. Got a lot of clutches in one drum that have multiple functions, and this drum moves in all sorts of different orientations. But they're really not bad to build if you can take a little time and learn how they work. And that is the last clutch inside of this drum. For the rebuild, we'll be taking the snap ring off and piston out and putting all new lip seals inside of there. But for now, we're just going to set this guy to the side. See me sticking my finger down in the back of the hole there, and you're wondering, why am I fingering that hole? This area right here is where the back of the stator rides. So you've got steel sealing rings on the stator support that are riding right inside of this drum. Sometimes heavy abuse vehicle, especially mail cars or rock haulers, stuff like that, they'll chew these ring lands into the back of this drum. So that's something that you always got to watch for. If you're tearing one apart, make sure that has not happened. Another thing, the stator is known for the rings actually wearing side to side in the land. If you get one where the rings are sticking in it, or you can move the rings side to side, that'll actually cause huge problems on drivability. Set low pressure codes, it'll set ratio codes, so on and so forth. We're gonna yank this hub up out of here, and then we're gonna flip this dude over and see what we got on the backside. Mainly because there's some cool stuff back there. We wanna see what's over there. I'll just start rolling. We're just gonna start taking all these bolts out and trying to figure out where the bolts are. There's so much mud on the back of this tranny. I'm thinking this guy's a weekend four-wheel drive warrior, but we'll see. Yeah, I can't say that word right. It just doesn't work.
I can't say the H word that people say.
Hallelujah?
Yeah.
You can't do that one?
I cannot say that. I'm not even going to try because I don't like.
That's all right. Either way, we're trying to get somewhere on that. Just smells of burnt tranny. And it should, because the overdrive clutches will work. Toasty. All right. The heck did I do? I didn't even grab the socket a minute ago. I'm losing my bananas. I was saving that bolt. That was my bolt. Can't believe you stole my bolt.
You want to go out back about it?
No, not today. I want to beat this back half off though. Yahtzee! Oh yeah, by the way guys, there's a slot right here just for sticking your screwdriver in and giving her the tappies. So sometimes you just gotta beat on them a little bit. Now we're gonna thread our slammer thingy here into its tail shaft. We're gonna just give her a yanking. Ha! First time, look at that. Sometimes you just gotta sit there and just. Now that we got this shaft yanked off of it, we're gonna. That's actually you can make like a little hammer out of that thing.
So like your other art project in here?
You know what this is? This is the perfect size throwing shaft. You know, it's not too big. You're not gonna like have to really hurt. I mean, you could really hurt somebody with this thing. All right, guys, pay your bill. Just throw it out. Here to there. We'll get back to what we're doing. I'm over here goofing off. Shouldn't be goofing off. We're gonna reach down inside of the parking lever there, and we're gonna stick it in park. He asked earlier about the whole, how do you know if it's in park or not? This would be not in park. That would be in park. Don't move. So we're gonna stick our giant Matco 50mm deep socket on there and give her the whirlies. Woo! She spins! Get that guy out of her way. Don't drop my nut. Well, hold on a second here. Somebody took a grinder to that thing. You see that? Mm-hmm. That ain't right at all. Even ground on the shaft. What a butt monkey. You should not have a grinder inside of your transmission. That is wrong. If you're using a grinder to take your tranny apart, stop. Just stop it there.
You use grinders to clean your heads off. I've seen videos.
I believe it. All right, we're gonna take out that little 8mm bolt right there. Reason we're taking that 8mm bolt out is because inside of that case, this is where the parking mechanism we were talking about earlier. So we're gonna drive this pin out and we're gonna push that pin out and we're gonna remove this entirely from the case so as to be able to actually wash it correctly. So let me grab me a punch and pop those guys out. All right. Pop out of there and then we can. Somebody swedged that hole really good. Going a little overboard here. Somebody went way overboard on that hole swedging. Get out of there! There we go. Finally, little turkey. Now we'll see if we can reach in there and push that other pin out without having to pull the snap rings out. It's not looking like it. I think we're gonna have to get that snap ring out of the way first. There we go. We'll cheat with our magnet. That is the parking ball. Now, let that race car drive by. Whew.
Well then.
That guy was getting it. Now let's take the rest of these guts out. So, we've got our piston retaining snap ring right there, or the second clutch. See if we can get it out. This thing's gonna have a little bit of a pop whenever it comes up out of there, but that's okay. There she is. Alrighty. There's our piston. Now, we've got well, that can't be good either. Man, this thing is just full of broken hopes and dreams. I love it. Grab our planetary out of the bottom there. Ooh, that bad boy's been hot. I'm thinking somebody's been out hot rodding their Dodge Nitro. Now then, we've got another snap ring in here. Another fun, tedious snap ring to get out of the hole. We'll get her out of there though. I have faith in my snap ring removing capabilities. I think. Maybe not. I think I'm gonna have to grab my screwdriver here in a second. Me and these snap rings, we're not getting along. There she is. Little turkey. Take that one out of there. And like a typical Chrysler product, we're gonna yank this pressure plate out and reveal one more fun snap ring to remove. Chrysler can just never seem to put enough snap rings in their transmissions, so we'll reach down inside of here and we'll grab the next one.
Another one.
Another one. We'll get that guy out of there, which is a little bitty thin snap ring. We're gonna remove our sun gear out of our rear planetary. Remove our bearing out of our rear planetary, which, man, all these bearings have been really hot. We're gonna flip this dude over. So, I'm gonna give her a little bit of love tapping right here. Well, that one's stuck. In the event of a stuck one, we'll do a little different here. Grab our nice brass beating shaft. Give her the dollops of daisies. We'll burn it out. Get that planetary out, see? All that, take a look at these low clutches. Which, the low clutches, outside of just being nasty from being on the bench, don't look too bad. We got one more snap ring in the bottom of this thing, and then we'll get to our low piston retainer. So typically I would put this thing in a press and press that guy down and remove the snap ring. I'm going to reach down in there with my snap ring pliers and see if it'll pop out without having to go into the press. Like so. Move our bell spring out of the way. Get our last piston out of here. Come here. Like so. Now, all we've got left is 3 T25 bolts to pull the low piston retainer out of there, and this thing's about empty. So, one thing I want to talk to you guys about, because this is something that has haunted my dreams, is this little valve right here. You want to get a picture of this thingy, get a look at this guy. See that little stucker? That one right there? That dude. Which, I know you guys are thinking, well, that's part of the case. Wrong-o babo. This little dude right here is such a pain in the neck. What this is the return line has a check valve. This check valve allows fluid to go one way, not the other way. Well, if you get one that is totally wiped out and had a bunch of stuff in the cooler, when you put it back in the vehicle, if you don't flush the cooler all the way, this guy gets plugged up. When this guy gets plugged up, it cuts off lube oil to the planetaries. I built one. It had 1,200 miles on it, not a lot of miles. Came back and this planetary had no teeth on it whatsoever. Gone. Completely planetaried out. So tore it apart, went through everything. Guy said, oh man, this must be a converter issue. So we put a new converter in it, put everything back together, and straight down the road we went. Guess what? 1,200 miles later, it was back again. Same problem, wiped out the planetaries. This valve was stuck, full of trash. That one little valve, $3, $4, $5 valve, whatever it is, cost me 2 transmission overhauls. Now, anytime I pull one out and I take one apart, first thing I do before I wash anything, run some air through that. Blow air into the back of the orifice there, and it should come out that side. If it's not coming out that side, you're going to get no oil to the planetaries. All because of that. So, if you guys want to really think about something to replace every time you build one of these, always replace that guy. With that being said, guys, I want to get all this stuff washed up, get it all cleaned up. I want to get this thing put back together and get it put back in this Dodge Nitro. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. Really appreciate you guys' time and hope you guys are learning something, at least enjoying what we're doing. So we'll see you on the next video. We'll be back.